Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a chilling tale that blurs the lines between reality and nightmare, a story that might just make you double-check every corner of your own home. Get ready for a journey into the unsettling, because once you hear this, you might never look at a closed door the same way again. Our story begins with Jason, a typical college student, navigating the usual chaos of exams, ramen noodles, and a slightly too small apartment. He lived in one of those old buildings full of character, creaky floorboards, and the occasional plumbing quirk. His hallway, like any other, was just a hallway, a passage between his unit and the outside world, unremarkable and utterly mundane. Until it wasn't. One Tuesday morning, Jason stumbled out of his apartment, half asleep and craving coffee, when he stopped dead in his tracks. There, directly across from his door, stood a new door. Not just a new door, but an ancient, weathered, dark wooden door, completely out of place. It looked heavy, almost medieval, with rusted iron hinges and a tarnished brass knocker shaped like a grimacing gargoyle. Jason rubbed his eyes, convinced he was still dreaming. But no, it was undeniably there. He blinked, shook his head, and cautiously approached it. The wood felt cold to the touch, colder than the surrounding wall, and a faint metallic scent hung in the air around it. It wasn't just old, it felt dormant. Confused, Jason mentioned it to his neighbor Sarah later that day. "Hey, did you see they put up a new door across from my place?" Sarah looked at him blankly. "What door? There's nothing there, Jason. Just the wall." He laughed it off, thinking she was messing with him, but her expression was genuinely perplexed. He then asked the building manager, Mr. Henderson, who scoffed, "A new door?" That night, things got weird. Around midnight, a soft, rhythmic tapping started coming from the mysterious door. Tap, 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 tap. It was insistent, but not loud enough to wake anyone but him. He tried to ignore it, pulling his pillow over his head, but it seeped into his dreams, a phantom knocking at the edge of his consciousness. Then the tapping stopped, replaced by something far more unsettling. Whispers. Faint, ethereal whispers, like dry leaves skittering across pavement, or distant voices speaking in a language he couldn't quite grasp. He strained his ears, his heart thumping against his ribs. Were they calling his name? Or was it just the old building settling, playing tricks on his mind? Jason started documenting everything. He began filming the door, hoping to catch something, anything, that would prove he wasn't losing his mind. He set up his phone on a tripod, angled perfectly at the door, and tried to sleep. Night after night, the phenomena escalated. The tapping became louder, more urgent. The whispers grew clearer, sometimes sounding like multiple voices, sometimes a single breathy murmur, always just beyond comprehension. He felt a creeping dread, a sense of being watched, even when his apartment door was closed. One particular night, the terror reached a new peak. Jason had been jolted awake by a sudden, violent thud against the mysterious door. His alarm clock glowed 3:33 a.m. He instinctively grabbed his phone and started recording. The whispers intensified, swirling and merging into a low, guttural growl. Then slowly, the doorknob began to turn. His breath hitched in his throat. The door creaked open, just a sliver at first, revealing an inky blackness behind it, a void that seemed to swallow the hallway light. And then, it emerged. A figure, tall, slender, and utterly black, like a silhouette cut from the deepest shadow. It wasn't quite human, its limbs seeming too long, its movements too fluid, too unnatural. It glided out from the door without a sound and stood there, facing Jason's apartment door, its head tilted as if listening. Jason was frozen, heart hammering like a drum against his ribs. He couldn't scream, couldn't move, could only watch in horrified fascination. The figure stayed for what felt like an eternity, but was probably only a minute before slowly retreating back into the darkness. The door swung shut with a soft click, and the hallway was silent once more. Jason didn't sleep for the rest of the night. He replayed the footage, his hands trembling. The figure was clearly visible, undeniable proof of what he had witnessed. But when morning came, he crept out into the hallway. The door was gone, vanished. The wall was smooth, painted the same bland beige as the rest of the hallway, as if it had never been there. He checked his phone. The video was still there, but it felt like a dream, a terrible waking nightmare. He frantically called Sarah, Mr. Henderson, anyone who would listen, but they all insisted there was never a door, and Jason was just stressed. He showed them the footage, but to them it looked like a blurry, dark image that could be anything. They suggested he get some rest, maybe see a doctor. This dismissal, this gaslighting by reality, only fueled Jason's obsession. He knew what he saw, he knew the door was real, and he knew it would return. He became a nocturnal vigilante, staying up every night, phone at the ready, watching the spot where the door appeared. He felt a strange pull towards it, a horrifying curiosity that outweighed his fear. What was behind that door? Why did it only appear for him? A few nights later, around 3:33 a.m. again, the door materialized. This time, there was no tapping, no whispering. It just was. A silent, brooding presence. Jason felt an overwhelming urge. He had to open it. He knew it was insane. He knew it was dangerous, but a force beyond his control was drawing him in. He walked towards it, his footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. He reached out a trembling hand, his fingers brushing against the cold, weathered wood. He could feel an energy emanating from it, a dark hum that resonated deep within his bones. He grasped the tarnished brass knocker, ignoring the urge to just flee. He took a deep breath, and with a surge of desperate courage, he slowly, deliberately turned the handle. The door swung inward, revealing not a dark void this time, but a swirling, kaleidoscopic tunnel of colors and shadows, a dizzying abyss that seemed to stretch into infinity. A faint, almost melodic hum emanated from within. Jason hesitated for just a moment, his phone still recording, his internal monologue screaming at him to turn back. But the pull was too strong. He stepped inside. The moment his foot crossed the threshold, the world seemed to warp. The hallway flickered, the apartment building dissolved, and a chilling, guttural whisper erupted from the door's depths, a sound that seemed to tear through the fabric of existence itself. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, the door slammed shut. The kaleidoscope vanished. The hallway returned to its normal, mundane state. The wall was bare, clean, absolutely nothing there. Jason was gone, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only his phone, still recording, lying on the floor where he had dropped it. The footage showed the door appearing, Jason approaching, the door opening to reveal the swirling abyss, Jason stepping in, and the door slamming shut. Then, as the camera pointed at the now empty wall, a faint whisper, barely audible, was caught on the recording. It sounded like a name, hissed through gritted teeth, or perhaps a warning, distorted and ancient. He joins us. And then silence. Authorities investigated, of course, but found nothing. No forced entry, no signs of a struggle, no logical explanation for Jason's disappearance. The video was dismissed as an elaborate prank, a digital manipulation. But for those who heard the whisper, for those who truly looked at the chilling evidence, the truth was far more terrifying. So, next time you walk down a familiar hallway, take a closer look. Is there anything new, anything out of place? Because sometimes the scariest things are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment and the right curious soul to open the door. If you found this story as unsettling as I did, please hit that like button, share it with someone who loves a good mystery, and definitely subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. Who knows what strange tales we'll uncover next? Stay safe out there, and don't forget to keep an eye on your doorways. Thanks for watching.